Welcome, everyone. We're so glad you're here for our next edition of the 49er Industry Chats. My name is Noemi Guevara, and I am the Director of Alumni Engagement here at Cal State Long Beach. Before we start our session today, I would like to let you know that this is being recorded and it will live on our website at csuob.edu/alumni. Also, to be able to moderate and better handle our questions today, we do ask that you use the Q&A box located below so that we're able to track and just all of your questions. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Kimberly Farrell, who earned her degree in marketing in 1982, and she currently serves as founder and CEO of Unlimited Performance Training, and is currently a member of our CSUOB Alumni Council. Kimberly, thank you so much for moderating today.
Hi, Noemi. It's good to see everybody, and I am really excited about today's program. I have the privilege of introducing our main keynote speaker today. Her name is Dr. Katherine Bihr, and she earned her BA in Kinesiology and Physical Education from California State University, Long Beach. Go Beach. In addition, she was a student athlete who played golf at Long Beach State. So Kathy, I really love learning more about you and your experience at Long Beach. She has her degree from Long Beach State in kinesiology and later went on to get her master's at Azusa in education. She is the vice president of the Tiger Woods charity, which is called the TGR Foundation. She leads all the programs and the education for this amazing charity. Some of the things about the operations that she leads is the TGR Learning Lab that you'll hear more about today, as well as the Earl Woods Scholar Program. In this very meaningful work that she's been doing for the last 16 years, she really helps the TGR Foundation focus on high potential but low opportunity youth from ages 5 through 12. And the track record is just amazing in terms of these youth that go on to college and have very significant careers and contributions to our communities. In her role with TGR, she has created professional learning programs and digital resources designed for education and for educators to use with students. They're very focused on STEM. And Kathy also, of course, I mentioned she's Dr. Katherine Bihr. She has her EDD from USC, which she obtained several years ago. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Kathy for the main event. Kathy?
Thanks so much, Kimberly. It's such a pleasure to be here and share with all of you about my journey post my experience at Long Beach State. Indeed, go Beach. I think it might be helpful, and feel free to prompt me with questions as well. Give you a little bit of history about how I came to Beach. In the beginning, I graduated from high school in Southern California and really wanted to go into teaching. And as a result of that, found my way to Long Beach, and I wanted to major in physical education. Kinesiology is kind of the term they're using nowadays. But there was no better program in Southern California than what was right, down the freeway from where I grew up. So I ended up at Long Beach State. I was telling Kimberly yesterday that I came from a pretty small high school, and Long Beach is a big campus, number one, and lots of kids, students kind of wandering around. And as a result of really just trying to get myself grounded and feel like I was more part of that community, I had the chance to take a class in the physical education department in golf. I just took a beginning golf class. I grew up playing and really wanted to do that. Really wanted to take a class just to feel like I was connected in some way. In Ed Ratliff, who was assistant men's basketball coach at the time, was my professor, and he said, "Hey, it looks like you've played before. Have you ever met the women's golf coach at Long Beach?" And he walked me over to her office and introduced me. I had a playing tryout, I guess, with the team. And within the next few months, I had a partial scholarship and I played golf for the rest of my time at Long Beach. So I have really fond memories of my time on the team. It really helped me connect to the school. And I am a passionate supporter of the women's golf program and the golf program in general at Long Beach as well. So you want me to keep going?
Yeah, so go ahead and tell us a little bit about how these students find you and how do they get kind of introduced to TGR Foundation and become a part of your program. And I just know I was so impressed with your video that you showed me yesterday on all that they do. Kind of tell us, how does this start? How do they get connected?
Sure. So over the course of my career, I started out working in school. So I worked in public K-12 education through LA Unified, Monrovia Unified School District, down to Ocean View School District here in Huntington Beach. And then I found my way to the TGR Foundation as a way to really, the opportunity was presented to me that, you know, Tiger Woods wanted to create this safe place where kids could come after school and have opportunities to learn like he would have learned as a young boy and have those chances to just kind of discover who they were. And so I was brought in 2004 and was working, I was the only person focused on programs at that time, and we didn't even have a building. So I spent the first year traveling the country looking at best practices in education, specifically in out of school time. Because we knew we were going to be an expanded learning facility versus being a school. That wasn't something that we were heading out to do. And actually my roots, going back to Long Beach for a minute, I actually worked, half of my college years for the city of Long Beach in Parks and Rec. So I had that experience behind me as well. So it's really funny. I think that, you know, how things kind of come full circle. You know, I started out playing golf as a kid and, you know, sure enough, I end up working for arguably one of the best golfers in the world in history. So at any rate, kids find us by some of it's word of mouth, but we work really closely with local schools throughout Southern California. We now have facilities across the country. We partner with public schools, private schools, community-based organizations to offer our programs. And so they have there's a wide variety of ways they're linking to us.
Okay, great. So it seems like if you have facilities all over the country, how many do you have and how do you do the funding? I know, are you a 501c? Yeah. We are.
We're a 501c3 charity. We have two facilities in the Philadelphia area, one at a KIPP charter school and the other at a Cristo Rey Philadelphia High School. We have a facility in Washington, D.C., out at the Marine Corps Base at Quantico, a middle school in Stuart, Florida, and then we work in a school in New York City as well. These are just our Learning Lab programs where we're really trying to help young people discover aptitude for STEM careers and the like. So, you know, really an interesting opportunity. The funding for the facility, I guess I should back up for a second. TGR Foundation is a 501c3 charity. The way that we are set up is we have the programs arm, which I'm in charge of. We also have, which is unique to us, we have an event-based corporation that runs PGA Tour events. We run some concert events and some specialty golf events as well that we call signature events. And as a result of that, the funds that are raised through those events come back to reinvest in the programs of the foundation here in Anaheim and then as well as around the country and now around the world actually as well. So if you are familiar with golf, the Genesis Invitational out at Riviera in February, that's our event. We run that. It is officially Tiger's event, kind of similar to Memorial, which will be, you know, which is Jack's event. It's kind of similar in theme to that, or Bay Hill for Arnold Palmer. So That's a pretty great event. We do another PGA Tour event in the Bahamas in December. And then we have 2 signature golf events. One, the Nexus Cup, which is out at Liberty National in New York, of course, in better times this year. I think that one's up in the air because of COVID, but that is one of our events. And then we do a private event up at Pebble Beach for kind of C-suite executives. And then we do Tiger Jam, which is a concert event and poker tournament over a weekend in Las Vegas, which is crazy fun and wonderful guests. And the team at the foundation that manages our events and tournaments are just top notch. So, and actually many of the folks that are involved in the master's program in sports management at Long Beach State have interned for us from time to time and come to work for us. So.
That sounds great. I mean, one of the first things I'm thinking of as an alumni, I want to volunteer. I want to go to the Bahamas. I want to go to Vegas. These events sound amazing. So in addition to interns, do you also, since you're a 501, also take volunteers, I would assume? Or is there a way
for
that
sure.
people can volunteer for the organization and be a part of this?
Oh, most definitely. You know, I think if you're interested in golf, each one of those events has its own registration to become a volunteer. If you're interested in volunteering on the program side, we certainly use a ton of volunteers through our learning labs. We are always recruiting mentors for, which we haven't talked about yet, the Earl Woods Scholar Program, which is a scholarship program for kids that we match all of our scholars with professional mentors that follow them through their 4 years of college and really help provide most of, you know, over 90% of our kids are first generation, you know, going to school. So giving them an opportunity to have somebody, you know, help them understand the process of getting on a college campus and navigating that has been really critical as well. So that's another really great opportunity if you have the time and the interest in doing that. We're always looking for mentoring opportunities too. And then volunteering in our classes, you know, certainly if you have a professional interest in anything STEM, we're definitely interested in having you come and volunteer some time. If you just want to be around some really great kids and amazing educators, love to have you do that too. So
that sounds great. So let's talk a little bit more about learning labs. So not everybody is from an educational background and doesn't know or understand fully soup to nuts what that entails. And I know you do learning labs for the STEM careers, right? Try to facilitate more kids into STEM careers. Can you tell us a little bit about how you have that set up and how it operates?
Sure. Again, kind of backing up a little bit, my background is in K-12 education, started as a teacher, became a school administrator, both as an assistant principal and principal. And one of the things that was really clear to me and still is clear to me in some cases, the kids they're not bored in school. I think they don't get it. We don't paint a good picture as educators between what you're doing in the classroom and how it applies to the real world of work. And so the whole concept around the learning lab was to try to demystify that and show kids that this is why you're taking algebra or physics or, you know, whatever class, you know, you name it, is, and this is how it works in the real world. And let's get a hands-on way to learn about that. So if kids are interested in aerospace engineering, they actually get the chance to design and build and eventually launch and learn from the point of experience how aerospace engineers kind of get their start in things. How do they design things? How do they figure that out? How do they know how much fuel is needed to launch a rocket to a certain height? You know, how do they create lift using, you know, the tools that they have to design and build their own rocket and those types of things. So, and that whole idea is repeated for about 40 different careers in STEM. So anything aerospace, video game design, anything in, we have a kind of an interesting health and fitness class as well that looks at kind of the biomechanics and STEM of that. And we do have a golf program, by the way, which we haven't really talked about yet. And we don't, because I think everybody thinks Tiger Woods, oh, they're golf foundation, and we really are not. we really are very much committed to more education and helping young people, you know, find their pathway, whether it be into university or to a future career or whatever. So even in the golf field, we make a point of looking at different careers in golf because, you know, I grew up playing golf, but I didn't want to go the path of being an LPGA pro. But there are certain other careers that touch golf that you wouldn't think about, like, you know, turf management and agronomy. You know, if you're really interested in the sciences and you want to learn how to, you know, build a beautiful golf course or building, you know, and like the grass that's behind you on your picture or behind me, you know, understanding how to do that and how the science works, right? Yeah, it's gorgeous. So I think really kind of helping kids understand that you can turn your passion into your purpose and into your profession as well.
Right, great. So so COVID has really impacted a lot of things from, I'm sure your programs, your summer programs. First, tell us how it's impacted your summer programs, and then, you know, on the topic of golf, because, you know, we think of that, of course, with Tiger and this foundation. How has it impacted people getting back on the green too?
Sure.
So maybe talk about those two things.
Yeah, you know, COVID has been such an interesting challenge. So the other piece of, I guess, let me back up for folks. Sorry to keep doing that, but we had the Learning Lab, and we've been doing that since 2006 is when we opened the facility. A few years in, we realized that, hey, we have something really important here, and we have an obligation to share. That was really big with the Woods family about this whole concept of caring and sharing, giving back to community. And so we started learning and codifying our work and deciding to share it with educators, whether they be in schools or in out of school time organizations. So we created a whole platform around teacher education and professional learning. And then also a digital program called TGR EDU Explore that we developed in partnership with Discovery Education. And it's important to note that as we think about COVID, because we've been working from home now since, I don't know, March 16th, I think. And immediately, you know, everybody on our team is worried about the kids, and everybody on our team is worried about the educators and what can we do to support. And we immediately have been cranking out digital workshops for teachers to come on and learn how to use some of the digital tools that they're having to deliver lessons with on Zoom or Google Classroom or whatever it might be. We have reworked some of our website, the Explore site, to have the lesson plans available, showing people how to use them. We've created a ton of new content. And then as it relates to summer, we actually recreated all of our courses online. So we're doing live digital summer classes for kids. We're doing digital workshops for teachers. We did all of our work for our scholars, pre-college retreat and activities also online. And a lot of that, and we also created a whole new series of STEM Unplugged videos so that students and their parents at home could do experiments at home. So everything from, you know, the chemistry of making pancakes to there's a lava lamp activity, which is really fun. There's one that's actually just come out a couple days ago where you look at, you know, how do the phases of the moon work? And there's actually an experiment you can do pretty easily at home. And then we created a bunch of digital design challenges for families as well since you're home and maybe you don't know what to do, let's look around the house at the materials and supplies you have and let's make it a learning experience. And how can we help parents really think about continuing learning because now we're all in the role of teacher, right? So, so COVID has been a great challenge for us, and we've been cranking stuff out. In golf, you know, the tour itself is getting back on track a little bit, although with limited spectators, if any at all in that. But and I think they're taking it day by day. But for us, our golf, we have a PGA Tour pro, or not, PGA Class A professional on our staff, and both a male and a female. And they are also going online and teaching golf online as well. So they are doing golf fitness, but also doing some swing mechanics as well. So, you know, if you haven't figured out yet how to leverage technology in what you're doing, you're missing the boat. You got to figure that out, and also be gentle with yourself. I think that not everything is going to go perfect. It certainly doesn't for us, but it doesn't mean that, you know, life has to stop. You still got to try and get yourself in the game, so to speak.
Great. Well, it sounds like you offer a lot of things. Can you think of a summer curriculum course that you just put online that you really love, or that has a great response? And give us an example of what that course is and what's happening in that course. Because one of the things that really struck me when you and I spoke yesterday and I saw your video is you're just really outstanding at experiential learning, right? That whole learning lab concept. And can you just kind of share with the audience something soup to nuts on that, a program that you really are excited about?
Let's see. Oh gosh, we're doing so many different things. One of the things that's going on this session is a space exploration class that is part astronomy. But they're also building, you know, scale models of the solar system and the planetary system. So the learning is not just having to converse this way on Zoom. It actually has a physical component to it that I think has really been super, super valuable. And I think that's the case with all of our programs, and something that you'll hear from our participants is they like the fact that they can get into a class that is not just people talking to them, that they actually are being drawn out and engaging in that work. And, you know, we're trying to encourage young people to speak up, find their voice, write things down, and express themselves in ways that maybe they haven't done in the past. And I think that's been a very empowering journey for all of them, for sure. But I guess one of my favorite activities, and if you go to our YouTube channel, you can look for the Mind Jar, and it's we rolled this one out early before summer actually, but I like it because it's a way that shows kind of they actually are making a Mind Jar with water and a little corn syrup and some glitter. And they look at the physical properties of what's happening chemically when you add these different ingredients, and then they put on the lid, and it actually becomes like a snow globe, so to speak. And what we talk about is, you know, how in the time of COVID, when, you know, there's a lot of stress in the world, and you feel yourself getting angry and anxious and everything. So they actually can use that Mind Jar, shake it up, and they can see that, well, this is what's happening in your brain when you're really anxious and you have a lot of anxieties, that all this stuff is moving all over, but you see that things start to settle. So it actually works to help them kind of turn their brain off a little bit and relax and start to learn how to soothe themselves a little bit in a more positive way. So I think that's one of probably my favorite activities, is because there's just so much stress and anxiety in this time right now. I think we all need that a little bit.
That's wonderful. So one of the questions that's come in is, what kind of work, or what would you recommend a current graduate from Long Beach State might be able to do in order to get connected with your organization, maybe work with your organization?
Yeah, well, depending on in which role they want to be, you know, they certainly could reach out to me and I can direct them. I mean, we have event management, so we have people who are working on marketing and communications. We have a team that's focused on operations and build outs of, you know, events and such at the golf tournaments. As well as the educators who are working through our learning lab, and we have a college counseling staff as well through the Earl Woods Scholar Program. So there's lots of opportunity. Anybody who's looking for, all of our jobs are on our website, so you can kind of pick through there too, and kind of see what makes sense for you.
Okay, great. Well, one of the things you mentioned earlier was about scholarships, that you have a lot of scholarships. And then, of course, these programs sound amazing. I'm sure you have some sort of a cap on the amount of students that are allowed to participate. So how do you, one, select the students to participate, and then two, how do they potentially get a scholarship, and what percentage of the students participating with your program actually get a scholarship?
Yeah, good question. So to enter our programs at a learning lab, the way the program works is it's primarily after school during the school year. So it's 2 days a week. We designed it to be a Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday class. So it was meant to mirror kind of a small college campus. So the time commitment isn't nearly as stringent as it might be if they had to commit to being there all week. As kids go through that program, they don't necessarily have to be a member of our Learning Lab programs to become an Earl Woods Scholar. But in the case of in Orange County and in Anaheim, right now we're working kind of exclusively with some schools in Anaheim and Buena Park, Anaheim, and Santa Ana. And then we have a Los Angeles cohort as well. And they become part of a cohort, and they have to go through multiple rounds of interviews. They have to write personal statements, and they have to tell us. The important part of the Earl Woods Scholarship is that they have some commitment or demonstrated commitment to community service or giving back. They've done something in that regard. And so we really look hard at young people that have, been doing things outside of the school, just the general school day. But they also have to maintain a pretty high GPA and have to be, on track for a four-year university as well.
That's great. That sounds really exciting. So let me go and look at a few more of these questions because they're coming in. So talk a little bit about what you do in terms of your educator education. You mentioned that with COVID, that you very quickly put a lot of things online for them, and you were helping them with Zoom and, Google, Meetup and all that stuff. So tell us a little bit about what your connection is there, and if anybody that's maybe listening is an educator, how they can also tap into your resources, because they sound amazing.
Yeah, for sure. So TGR EDU CRED is the professional development arm of our program. What we do is we started out working with some of our 5th grade teachers that would come during the school day, when we have to think pre-COVID, right? When we're in the building, we worked with elementary educators trying to help them create hands-on STEM lessons that they could deliver back in their school classrooms. So part of it was helping them learn how to use their own curriculum and the supplies and things that they had, how to integrate technology effectively, exploring more, collaborative ways and hands-on ways to teach math, and incorporating engineering. So, and teachers who came with their entire class. So the kids would go with my staff to be either in a forensic science or a marine science program. While they, as teachers, went through training. And then that actually has launched into a much more robust program we call STEM Studio, which is really designed not only to teach STEM, but it's really about changing your instructional strategies to focus on inquiry and hands-on learning and project-based learning. So those STEM studios and activities are offered throughout the year. As well as summer. We have a week-long summertime. We've done, because of COVID, we've done a three-day intense STEM studio program that has included, really just looking at, we're trying to introduce people to the idea of inquiry, but then also helping them shape and reshape lessons that maybe they've been teaching for a long time, but repositioning them. So, and then we have teachers who have, really clicked with us well, and we've moved them into a master trainer program, and we're using them to actually help expand our reach across the country and get into other districts and so on. We also have an international teacher program as well that we've started out working with the Department of State to offer that for all of the schools overseas, but that has grown to include local rural schools in the remote areas of Africa, you name it, Australia, yeah, Asia. We've got quite a bit going on. Yeah, it's been, let me tell you, it's been a really interesting journey. But teachers, I mean, anybody who's interested, hop on our website. You can see when the training sessions are, and it will also link you to the YouTube page. I mean, if you go to tgrfoundation.org, you can see everything in all of our programs and easily get yourselves connected.
TGRfoundation.org. I love that. One of the things that people are wondering about, with the goal of getting more kids interested in STEM and STEM careers, we love a good success story. So can you think about one or two really great success stories where the kids came in, they were really unsure, and they engaged. It took a little bit to get them going, but then some amazing things over time happened. Because I know you've been there 16 years now, right? You've probably seen some amazing things.
Amazing for sure. I'm trying to think which one to tell you. I mean, I've got impressive stories for sure, and then I've got ones that'll tug at your heartstrings, I think, for sure. I will say we have had a young man who started with us in junior high and stuck with us through high school. He actually entered our scholar program, was accepted into our scholar program, and he went to Reed College and graduated with a degree in physics.
Wow.
And from there, he's now working on his PhD in physics and working in a nuclear laboratory. But his family was homeless. He's a first generation kid to go to school, and just that life's journey has been amazing. Another kind of fun story.
Kathy, before you go on, I just want to ask a question about that. It would seem that a child like that came out of a difficult situation, that now his success would also kind of permeate the whole family. Can you tell us a little bit about, because you're talking so much about giving back to community, and he's part of this nuclear community, right? Can you just share a little bit about how that touched everyone in that family?
Well, it changes the trajectory of the family and the possibilities, right? I mean, I think their family, they now have, they have a home, dad has a job.
Wow.
Things are definitely looking up, very different than when this young man was in high school and before then. So, I think part of the stories are, the families allowed that to happen. And part of our education process too is working with a family that it's going to be okay, right? That your kids are going to go off to school, and there are going to be these amazing things happen, and they don't even know it yet. They don't know it at the time, but then they begin to see that by supporting their child to pursue their dreams and go to college and those types of things, that it actually does have a tremendous impact on the entire family. One additional story that's kind of fun, Tiger went to Stanford. We actually have a young man who's at Stanford right now, who's a sophomore, who Tiger is mentoring, which is really interesting. He's the kid, he's really brilliant computer scientist. He started with us in 5th grade, so we've known him a really long time.
Oh, wow.
His first summer after his freshman year, he interned at Facebook. He's currently interning for Snapchat right now. He was able to make that work in a virtual environment from at home. But kind of one of the interesting stories is, in his 3 months of interning this summer, he will make more than his whole family makes in a year.
Wow.
As an intern.
Wow.
And a lot of times, kind of the tricky part for us with kids like him is they feel like, do they really deserve this? I mean, there's some serious imposter syndrome that they
Right.
have a really hard time kind of trying to figure out, is it right for me? I'm making more than my parents. Is that okay? And,
Right.
you know, working with them to understand this is why your parents are supporting you and why they want you to go to college is, you know, to create a new scenario for yourself and for us as a family. And it changes the trajectory of everything, you know, for people moving out of their circumstance that may be,
Yeah.
you know, maybe less than what might be desirable into something that is just so different.
Right. And it sounds like this is a time where the mentor has to kind of step in. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So do
Oh, yeah.
all of the kids that win these scholarships have these mentors that are assigned to them so that all through college, because I would think, you know, this imposter syndrome and some of these other things, they're not uncommon. I know
No,
even
right.
on the executive level, when I do executive coaching, that comes up. You know, I have people that are physicians that don't want to introduce themselves as a doctor and things like that, right? Because of the background. And they don't want to pull away from their community. So tell us a little bit about that mentor relationship with these students, and maybe some other examples. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so our mentors, we actually take them through training and we give them support as well to address issues that are going to come up. So in some cases, it might be, you know, they're developing kind of a financial literacy plan for their alongside their mentee, where they're showing them how to budget and, you know, get things done. Others, others are exposing young people to maybe experiences they never would have had, or taking them on trips. They become part of the family and those types of things. In other cases, you know, they're helping them navigate some difficult situations with professors on campuses or with deans on campuses, you know, things that just come up. And, you know, young people on college campuses, if they don't have those mentors, don't maybe have the skills that they need in order to be self-advocates. And so I think the mentors really are useful in helping them, you know, navigate that pathway. But we've had mentors too that have helped us. We sent an entire cohort of scholars to China for 2 weeks as a result of one of our mentors who happens to work for the World Poker Tour and has a relationship with can't think of the name of the firm right now, but it's the Chinese gaming, you know, conglomerate, right? And so, but they set up a really wonderful opportunity for those young people to explore a new culture, see a brand new part of the world that they wouldn't have seen otherwise. So that's just, you know, some of the outrageous, you know, things that happen sometimes too.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. So this is just bubbling up with more questions. So people want to know, how did you actually get to the position of VP at TGR Foundation? How did that all happen?
Yeah, so I was, before I took the job with the foundation, I was a principal, and in my final semester of my doctoral studies, and a friend of mine sent me the job application as a joke. So, look what this Tiger Woods is trying to do. And I read the job description and I was kind of captivated by it. I'm like, I called her back and I said, I think I'm going to apply. You know, when in education do you get a chance to really be creative and do things that just make sense for kids?
Right.
You know, so, and I loved being a teacher and I love being an educator, but it's the truth that there are barriers that are put in your way when you're in a classroom teaching that may or may not be the best thing for kids. So at any rate, that experience got me kind of in the door. They actually were hiring for a director of education and kind of a lesson learned. I had leadership in my background, and so they contacted me before my interview and said, hey, we're thinking about hiring for an executive director instead of this director of education. Would you be interested? Sure. I mean, I had no idea really what I was told. What are you going to say? But I did. I took the interview, and I ended up being the last one standing. And then, you know, over the course of time, you know, certainly got promotions and things and moved up to vice president. But my initial job was to focus on building this learning lab. Shortly after the facility opened, Earl Woods passed away just a few months later. So we immediately kind of moved to creating the scholarship program. We had some really quick success in our learning lab and went down the path of, you know, how do we work with educators? And that took off, and then, you know, online and then global, you know. So I've had just amazing experiences, and it's, you know, it's putting yourself out there. You know, you have to take some chances and take some risks, and I have no regrets. You know, I've really been fortunate in my life to get some really great teaching experiences, and just you take them all. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So your technology, when I looked at your video, it's really second to none. I thought it was very state of the art. It takes a lot to bring that into the learning component, right? And create the technology with the experiential learning and the full engagement. So what are some of the resources or suppliers or the way that you've kind of brought in technology to really kind of engage and captivate?
Yeah, so we have, you want me to show the video? That might be good. I can do that.
Would really like it.
Well, let me see if I can do that. Noemi, can I do that? Let's see if I can get it done here. All right, can you see that okay? Yep, all right, good. Can you hear it?
We need sound.
Okay, let me try one more time. Sorry, I forget this every time.
That's okay.
I'm on Zoom. I got to do that, and then, oh, good Lord. Sorry, it's making me log on. I don't think it should though. Let's try it again here. Hopefully you can hear that. Can you hear that one?
I can't.
No?
Yeah.
Noemi, is there something she should do? Because it looks like her
sound.
happened.
Can you hear the sound or not hear the sound?
No. Is
Well,
your micro?
At least play it, even if you don't have the sound, because it's really good, the visual.
Maybe because your AirPods are connected to your computer.
Ah, that's true. Okay, sorry everybody. Let me take those out. Okay, we're gonna give it one more shot here. Okay. No, it keeps asking me to, no, it's not gonna let me do it. You want me just to run the video no matter what?
Yes, definitely. Just run the video. That would be wonderful.
I'm sorry, everybody, but we'll get it done here. Here we go.
TGR Foundation gave me more than just something to do after school. They sparked my curiosity.
They taught me more than just a few new skills. They showed me where those skills could take me. And they encouraged me to pursue more than just a dream. They inspired me to make that dream a reality. But they didn't just do that for me. They did that for all of us.
For over 20 years, TGR Foundation has provided underrepresented students with award-winning STEM curricula, online learning, college access programs, and teachers with professional development, with the sole mission of impacting an entire generation to discover, develop, and pursue their passion. Because the greatest way to impact the world is to empower those who enter it. Join us in empowering their journey.
Isn't that exciting? I want to join.
And those are real kids, you know, real students. The young man who put the Cal State Fullerton flag up is actually started with us in 5th grade, works for us, and I just hired him as a teacher about a month ago. So he finished degree, and yeah, just really his mission is really to give back to his community, and he's fantastic. So
there was a young woman, somebody, filmmaker or something toward the end. Can you tell us about her? That looked really captivating.
Well, let me tell you something really interesting about her. She went to Berkeley and majored in computer science. And she's an immigrant child, and her family went from not having green cards to having green cards and citizenship. When she graduated from Berkeley, she was fielding offers from Blizzard and NASA, and I think Samsung was another one, and we actually helped her negotiate her contract, and she went to work for NASA for several years, working on some of the computer simulation for the Mars rover project. And then she wanted to go back to school, so she's currently at Annenberg at USC working on Filmmaker. She's actually done her own small short film documenting the cause of first generation kids. So really interesting. Yeah, she's great.
Still looking at ways to give back, it sounds like,
For
right?
sure. Yep.
That's wonderful. So do you have a dream program? One of the questions somebody has asked is, do you have a dream program you want to create that you just haven't created yet?
Oh, that's such a good question.
It is. I love it.
You know, the short answer is yes. I think it would be really interesting to do something with augmented reality. I think we just haven't found the right way to do that yet. I will tell you, it's kind of the funny thing is, if you were to ask me, you know, 10 years ago about digital programs and teaching online, I would not. I was very fearful of it because it felt like it took away the opportunity to engage with young people. And it just changes the experience. And now, 10 years, you know, to the more knowledge behind me, and I teach online, by the way, there's so many more opportunities, and that fear of not, when you're a teacher, you want to be around the kids because that's how you know you're supporting, and you can read the body language, and you can kind of get a sense of the good you're doing. Today's opportunities online and working with kids digitally are so different and still so meaningful, and you can still have a relationship with the people on the screen and who you're working with. And I think that's been like a big surprise. So I think something with augmented reality would be good, probably around the gaming, gaming piece or gamification of some kind of program. I think that's probably where I would head.
Okay. Somebody mentioned when they saw in the video about all the college banners that were being put up. Do you have college fairs, or is there some sort of a connection with certain colleges and fairs, or how does that work?
We do. So again, kind of one of these learning experiences. We do host a number of college access events and college success events, both for young people and their families, but also for high school counselors and educators, because they're often the ones that are writing letters of recommendation and so on. So we do a number of events through our Learning Lab. It looks like we're probably going to end up doing something online in the fall as well. So we'll see how that goes. But we have relationships with a wide variety of colleges and universities, including Long Beach as well, and inviting admissions counselors to come and talk to our kids. We invite college admissions counselors to come and talk to our kids as they're making their decision about where they want to go, as well. So a way to recruit as well.
That sounds great. So another question came from somebody that's just graduated and they've got their teaching credential. So they're wondering, what might they connect with that you offer as terms of services or something to really create some wonderful learning curriculums for their first time out?
Yeah, so I would like 100% recommend that you go and see if you can get in one of our STEM Studio classes, because it will teach you how to work online, and check out some of the resources as well, because the fall is going to be some kind of combination of asynchronous and synchronous learning. So you have to get comfortable pretty soon with trying to figure out how do you, and it's hard, I think, as you're a new teacher coming out of school, maybe not having had a whole lot of experience. So certainly hit up STEM Studio. I believe in my staff 1,000%, and they are the best of the best. So even if you can't come, trying to get into our network as well, where we do a lot of workshops. We do a lot of we call it Create Cafe, which is like an informal way for you to come and talk to other educators about things that you're doing in their classroom, or if you need like a helpful hint on how to problem solve around a specific lesson, things like that. They'll give you all kinds of really great ideas. And go online to TGR EDU explore.org. You actually, if you go to our STEM Studio, here's the sales pitch. If you go to STEM Studio, you actually are going to get 2 years worth of connection to the Discovery Educator Network, which has much more, many more resources for you in your classroom. In addition to our own offerings through Explore, you actually will have, hundreds of thousands of educators around the world that you can network with as well. And I don't care what field you're in, if you aren't networking with people and building your network, that is the future. You got to get out there and get to meet people.
That's wonderful. So what is the price range to maybe take some of these courses?
For kids or for teachers?
For adults, for teachers.
Yeah, so I'm glad everybody's sitting down. So for our summer STEM Studio, we charge $25.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And when we can,
everyone can access it.
Yeah, when we can, we try to make it for free. So
that's amazing. Well, that's good to know for everybody online, because a lot of people are out of work right now, and also looking forward to going back if they're educators. And to your point, either asynchronous or synchronous or a combination of blended learning. Wonderful. So I want to just kind of pause for a minute and see if there's anything else, Kathy, that you're thinking about that you want to share that you haven't shared, and see if there's any more questions.
Well, gosh, I think we've been all over the map today, and I apologize for those of you that are listening if I've been kind of scattered. I would just say that, it did all begin with Long Beach, and, for whatever reason, I had the opportunity to have really great professors and people who were mentoring me all the way along, and really kind of discovering who you are. And I think, sometimes we don't think about that. I'm such a different person than I was when I was, in high school. And I really attribute that to being able to go to Long Beach and kind of figure out who I am, how I can connect to the bigger world. And, I'm a proud alumni of the school for sure. I welcome the opportunity to work with anybody and brainstorm. If you have a crazy idea and it happens to be in education, or you have something you want to try, I tell everybody all the time, consider the TGR Learning Lab as your petri dish, and let's try it out. I mean, there's no point in saying no to things. Right now it's all about creativity and being innovative, and how do you we don't do that unless you have opportunities to attend sessions like this and get to meet new people and just continue the conversation. So find me on LinkedIn, or find me through the school. I'm sure somebody who can connect you to me. I'm more than happy to do that, and I welcome it. I worked my entire career to again, the Learning Lab was a great opportunity for me to try to get out of that box of K-12 thinking and learning and do things that made sense. And we need more people like that are willing to step out and try new stuff and not take, no, or you can't do that. I mean, are willing to try new stuff. And I need people that are willing to stand shoulder to shoulder with me and do that. So I can't tell you how open I am. I really am. I really mean that. So, you know, some stuff goes places and some stuff doesn't, but we're always better for the experience. So.
Great point. Always better for the experience, as everyone watching has been today. And it's been my privilege to get to know you a little bit yesterday and learn even more today, as I'm sure is reflected in everybody listening. So with that, I want to thank you, and I want to pass it over for the formal closing by Noemi.
Thank you, Kimberly and Kathy. It was a great conversation, very inspirational that, you know, we definitely have to think about our community and give back, but also network. So we will definitely be following you on LinkedIn. And again, if anyone wants to reach her, if you're not on social media or LinkedIn, email us at alumni@csuob.edu and we will connect you with Kathy. Again, this session was recorded and we will be posting it on our website in the next couple of days. And a reminder to follow us on social media at CSUOB Alumni to learn about future programs like this. Thank you and have a great day.
Great session, Kathy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.